It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. My lucky day. Don't need a pot of gold.
Good morning, everybody. Today is October 7th, and I want to welcome you to episode 48 of Coffee and Cloud Native. My name is Adrian Goins, and every night I and my army of bots scour the internet for news and content related to Kubernetes and Cloud Native, and every day you'll find me here to share the bits that I find interesting. It's a curated list of content. I go through around 200 submissions every night, and I select just a handful of them for the next day's show. These are things that I would use, or that I do use, or that I know people in the community use, or that I just think are pretty cool, and though I may not look at today, I'm actually excited to share them with you. I've been on vacation for a couple of weeks, and so this is only the third show since I've been back, and it's like right up to the show, my heart's pounding, and I'm like, all this anxiety, so, I'm trying to keep it on the relaxed here. I got my coffee, it's like cloudy outside. It's just going to be a cool, quiet day. If you're watching live on Twitch, please click the follow button for the channel. And if you're watching in the future on YouTube, click the thumbs up button on the video so that YouTube shares it with other people, because it's just really bad at doing that for some reason. You can subscribe to the channels or not or whatever, but whatever. It's nice to see you. It's nice to have you watching. Live chat happens on Twitch or on Discord in the live chat channel. And this week it's also still happening on YouTube, but remember that after this week, I'm going to be live streaming on Twitch and then uploading to YouTube afterwards. There's a bot that does all of the chat relay stuff, so pretty much anywhere that you see chat happening, you can participate. But Discord is where the chat continues after the stream. And in fact, who do we have in the chat today? We have, hey, War Games, Ian, good morning. Wifebot, it's nice to see you. Restreambot, doing your job. That's great. I love the bots. Tribble, welcome. Nice to see you, my friend. Kai, good morning. Duck. All right, we got lots of people here. And who do we have over on the YouTube side? Oh, YouTube's over here chewing up bandwidth. On the YouTube side, we've got, hey, Mose, Michael. Good morning, guys. And then lots of stuff being relayed by the Restream bot. So, thank you all for joining. Let's get started, right? First of all, I think we have some news and some updates. Just because it's that week of transition. Remember that in the community site, there is a giveaway poll happening right now. Let me split the browser and I'll go look at that. I don't know why I never have that site in this browser window. Community.cncn.io is the community site. It's free to join. Lots of stuff happening over there as well. And I have a poll running right now for which course should I be giving away in October. And it looks like we are currently still in the lead with Kubernetes Mastery by Brett Fisher. But these are the options that you have. If you have an opinion, whether you want to win or not, come and let us know. I'll shut the poll down on Thursday, and then whoever wins, that's what we're doing for the rest of the month, starting on Friday. Also, if you've knocked on the door to join the community site, when we approve you, and which just happens almost instantaneously, you get an approval email. And I was looking this morning in the members site, and I see, or the members list, and I see that some of you are still waiting for a response. So an approval has been sent. Check your spam folders, because that's probably where you're going to find it. If you knocked and you haven't gotten a response, you probably, you think I don't like you or something, but it's not true. It's spam. Well, it's not spam, but Google thinks it's spam, or whoever thinks it's spam. So be sure to check those as well. And with that, let's move on to the real goods. Yesterday, I'm sorry I couldn't talk about it on the show yesterday, but yesterday Rancher 2.5 launched. And the reason that I couldn't talk about it is because this isn't Rancher's show. This is technically a media outlet in the context of like other people talking about things, and all media is embargoed about talking about the release until the press release comes out. That was at 9 a.m. Eastern. The show's at 7:30 Eastern. I'm sorry. But it happened. You've probably already all seen it and downloaded it and installed it and stuff like that. It has a bunch of really, really awesome things. One is there's this whole new UI. In fact, I think I even have one of these up and running still. There is a whole new UI that's not just a UI change. It's ridiculous. You can now interact with every single Kubernetes resource in the cluster, not just the stuff that you could configure through Rancher. So if you deploy operators, you can control the CRDs. If it doesn't have a GUI here, Like, we still have deployment GUIs and stateful sets and stuff, but everything else, no matter what it is, you can, go and actually talk to it directly via YAML. There's a new YAML editor. I'm not going to do a whole demo of it today because there's a meetup happening for Rancher on October 14th, so next Wednesday. And then now that it's out, I'll also be doing some walkthrough videos for Rancher itself. Just know that it's fast, like blazingly fast, much more in line with how upstream Kubernetes works. And probably the best features are you can now deploy Rancher into any Kubernetes cluster whatsoever. So if you have just a single node cluster, great. If you have a cluster out on EKS, great. You can put Rancher anywhere to manage either just the cluster it's in or any other multi-cluster environment like you've always been able to do. EKS is now fully supported for imported clusters. So previously you could deploy EKS and then Rancher could manage it with lifecycle and everything like that. But if you imported an EKS cluster that you launched some other way, you were on your own. Not anymore. Now when you import them, we absorb them and we take over the full lifecycle management. That's coming for GKE and AKS as well, but it's now available for EKS. We have a whole new app catalog. Everything is a Helm chart now, so no matter how you get stuff into your cluster, you'll be able to see it here. It's just ridiculous. It also now ships with Fleet, which is, I don't know if they updated their site yet, but it's I think I talked about this yesterday. It's the at scale solution for GitOps in Rancher. The 2.5 is out. And then there's one thing that I do want to point out, because it's both confusing and awesome. There is a new release of RKE, the Rancher Kubernetes engine. Hang on, just checking the chat here to make sure that there's stuff. Duck says, time to re-record some Academy videos. I'll talk about that in a second as well. So there's a new release, RKE 2. Now this is not a 100% version 2 upgrade of RKE. What's happened is that RKE has split temporarily. We've rolled out some production level features specifically for government. So it's now FIPS compliant. It has full support for SE Linux. And if you go to I'll put the link to the Rancher Federal blog in the show notes. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a demo here that Brandon did for deploying RKE2 in an air-gapped environment. It's off the chain. It's just so amazing. And what's going to happen over the course of the next several months is feature parity will be achieved between RKE1 and RKE2, and the two will merge again into just the regular RKE line, which will now be called RKE version 2. I'm sorry that it's RKE2, but it's not fully version 2. There's a lot of complex reasons behind that I think are actually in a fact somewhere. Next up, free stuff. Well, discounted stuff. Linux Foundation, discounts. If you're considering doing the CKA, CKAD, I don't know why I said CK, RKE, CKE. If you are considering doing it until the 10th of October, you can buy a coupon, buy a whatever for it, and it's good for a year. So there you go. Also 20% off of any books, any courses, anything from Linux Foundation. You guys heard about Pixie? Oh, sorry, I just looked at the chat. Academy videos. Yes. I frequently am asked about the Rancher Academy and when we will have the CRO Level 2 course material up or updates for CRO Level 1. I've been waiting until 2.5 primarily because of the UI change, because even if I updated the content for 2.4, I was going to have to update it again for 2.5. Now that 2.5 is out, that has moved up to the top of the list, and we will be getting updated Academy content out, as well as more educational content. I have almost daily conversations with people at Rancher and people at that other company that we're not allowed to talk about yet about what the Rancher Academy is now and what I want it to be going forward. I don't know why I showed the Rancher Federal page for that. Pixie. Pixie popped up on the radar because they got a bunch of money, and they were all over Twitter for getting a bunch of money. Their Series A round was almost $10 million, which is a lot for a Series A round. And at the same time, they went beta. So they've been operating in stealth mode with some seed funding. Their founders, I don't have the actual press release up, their founders are legit. They come from the AI and ML background. I don't remember if it was from Apple or from Google, but they're legit. They have a free community tier. And in fact, I don't remember where their pricing is. Maybe it's on their main page. They have a community tier, and at the moment, yeah, so Pixie Community is free forever. And I'm pretty sure in their pricing, their beta stuff is... Yeah, okay, I don't know where their pricing is. Basically, what I saw, everything is free right now while they're in beta. But they'll have a permanent community tier that's always free. It's an observability platform. But what struck me as the most interesting about it is it's not just observability like monitoring. It's observability including tracing, and it uses eBPF, so it requires no code changes in your system. If you've ever tried to work with Jaeger, there's a bunch of stuff you have to change in your code for dynamic tracing to work, and they're saying that you don't have to do any of that. They have some scripts. Where's the... I was on this site a bunch, and now suddenly I can't find anything that I'm looking for. So they work with scripts. Yeah, there we go. So no instrumentation. They have this Pixie language for doing stuff with scripts. It runs natively in clusters, so you don't have to schlep out a bunch of data to some third-party SaaS service. And it looks extremely friendly. Now, I have not deployed it, but they just came out of beta like a week ago, or just came out of stealth a week ago, and I wanted to share this with you to see if A, any of you are using it, or B, if you're not and you check it out, let me know. This also happened yesterday. PipeCD. These guys are an out-of-the-box GitOps solution. So CD is continuous delivery. It's the CI/CD. CI/CD is often just munched together into test and deployment. It's practically its own word now, like Xerox was a word for photocopying, or Kleenex is a word for tissues. CI/CD. But GitOps is the CD portion of that, continuous delivery. PipeCD is a solution for deploying stuff, and it interestingly uses a model very similar to Fleet. I mean, I guess Fleet doesn't necessarily own the idea here, but as I mentioned yesterday, there is a scalability problem in standard GitOps, where if you have lots and lots and lots of things slamming some Git repository, you're going to have congestion and all the sorts of stuff that happen when you do that. Fleet and PipeCD here use an external control plane. In this case, it looks like they're putting it outside of a firewall. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that, but their idea is that if you have a cluster that's behind a firewall, it's only making outbound requests to a control plane and then pulling stuff back in. Multi-provider, multi-tenancy, all sorts of wonderful goodness. Open source, has some features like single sign-on and RBAC. I don't know how those fit into the deployment model. Credentials are not exposed outside the cluster and not saved in the control plane. Sounds good. And it only makes outbound requests and can run inside a restricted network. Okay. I suppose restricted in the context of you have a firewall, which doesn't everyone have a firewall? But this not restricted in the air gap sense, which isn't going to have any connectivity outside whatsoever. I found this. I thought it was cool. And they released 0.7.5 yesterday, so while it's probably also alpha and not fit for production, it looked very cool. GitOps, as I've said again and again and again, is the way that things are going. There's a little bit of a heavy lift if you're using the incumbent tools like Argo or Flux, and I'm very interested in things that just make stuff easier. This looks like one of those. Also, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this, but look at their little graphic over here, and look at their little user down there with the computer. I looked at that and I was like, what's wrong with his face? And I realized, oh, see, can I blow that up? You guys can't see it. View image. Homie's wearing a mask. I don't know about you. I don't wear a mask when I'm sitting at my computer because my computer is not going to infect me. I guess people maybe in offices or something. I don't know. But yeah, welcome to the future. I saw this last night and I was thinking, how long is it going to be before we're in like Blade Runner land where everybody had like crazy cool air filter things like Bane masks that are just part of the wardrobe, where it's not like, oh, I have to put on a mask and it's disposable, but like we've got some legit cool technology that does some kind of crazy gnarliness. I would totally rock that. So there you go. Oh my gosh, Michael. That's very funny. Michael says, wearing a mask is how you stop viruses. Ka-ching! Ba-dum-bum. Very funny. Nice one. If you run Ambassador, this is a few days old, but it popped up yesterday. They had a very important security release. Apparently, there is a high-risk CVE for Envoy, and so this patches that. If you are doing anything with Envoy and you haven't updated, you should go and do that. Oh, wow, so there's actually 2 CVEs. So they've got some other bug fixes in here, and I thought it was nice that they actually tell you how you can report security vulnerabilities to them. Security is super important. Responsible disclosure is also important. I know that there are some companies who don't take it seriously and they don't give you a way to respond, or they ignore you or whatever. I like that Ambassador here in their article on Medium are like, here's how to get in touch with us if you need to report something, because we take this very seriously. Rancher also has an entire page dedicated to security where you can disclose, where you can report. I guess you're not disclosing yet. So yeah, if you find something, let the companies know. And I think most companies want to fix it. It tends to be the big arrogant ones that don't. Good morning, Tim. Welcome to the show. Tim, you actually have 2 accounts in Discord. I need to figure out which one of you... Okay, that one. That's the one you're logging in as. I'm going to make a note of that. I tried to send you a private message yesterday. You were offline, and there's 2 accounts. And I was like, I don't know which one to use. So I'll see if I can... I've noted which one is yours, and I'll nuke the other one. I think I can nuke the other one. We'll see. That was an accident. I know, sometimes I clone myself accidentally, too. Terse news from Amazon. Nothing to see. EKS now supports configurable Kubernetes service IP address ranges. This is for those of you who have a direct connect or a VPN that overlapped with the private address space being used by the Kubernetes cluster, and all hell broke loose. I don't know how long this has been a known issue or why it took them so long to fix it, because this seems kind of like, well, an easy-ish fix, maybe, but definitely an important fix. So if you have been unable to roll out anything in EKS because the service IP address range overlaps, now you can. The end. How are we doing on time? We have lots of time left. I'm experimenting with some stuff today. Nuno, halfway to bronze. Congratulations. I see you posting stuff on Twitter, inviting people. Thank you very much. All of you can invite people to the CNCN community. And I said at the beginning of the show, like, if you knock to get in, like, we just have that so that if we get any trolls, I have like a gate that I can throw them on the other side of. But if you knock to get in and you don't get a response within, a few hours, unless it's the middle of the night, come over to Discord and ping me or ping WifeBot, and we'll, like, probably it's in your spam folder. The things I'm experimenting with today: 1, I have basically no show notes in my phone teleprompter here. I just have, like, the subject lines, and that's usually I have show notes so that when I get the anxiety panic of, like, I don't know what I'm talking about, I have something that I can read. But I'm trying to figure out ways to compress the time that I spend putting the show together every night. The second thing that I'm trying today is... Ian says time is relative. Hey, Ian, you're Chatterbox. Yay! Ian has reached level 1 of talking in Discord. The other thing I want to do today is, after the show, I'm trying to figure out if Twitter actually works. The second thing that I spend the most amount of time on was hunting down who has a Twitter handle for something that I'm talking about on the show, so that after the show, I send out those tweets every 30 minutes for the course of the day, and I mention them. The idea was that I was mentioning people who would then retweet it to their followers so that I would get more people to come to the show. And I looked at my stats for the last 90 days, and basically I get like 3% of my traffic from Twitter. And I don't know if 3% justifies the hours that I spend doing all the Twittery stuff. But at the same time, I know, for example, Nuno, you use Twitter, and I have interacted and met companies and people who now follow the show through Twitter. So I'm trying to figure out like if that's valuable. If I take that out, I haven't really been doing it at all this week, and if I take that out, I want to start putting the show notes in the community site. You know, one of the reasons to come to the community site. I was having a conversation yesterday with Casimir where he asked if I could add like some kind of indexing or categorization to the content so that he could come and he could say, okay, I want to see everything that was related to an operating system. And it would pull up whatever episodes, but not just the episodes themselves, but the specific pieces. So I made a CNCN show notes topic today in the community site, and I'm going to post articles today that are just going to be little blurbs for each of the stuff that I'm talking about. Please let me know if that's stupid, if it makes too much noise for you, if it's not as effective, because I'm trying to figure out where this stuff should go to be the most valuable for all of you. So let me know when you see it come across the wire later. And here we have, who remembers when Quay totally crashed a few weeks ago? Quay crashed, and why it crashed is actually not that relevant, but they wrote this really cool article that's like a CSI investigation. The guy that wrote it, Alex Handy here, is really funny. So I'll have this in the show notes as well. It's just it's a really funny read. Like, how exciting is it to go hunt down a bug in a piece of software from a company that you bought 4 years ago? Probably not that exciting, but he makes it sound like it was like, you know, Mission Impossible style, the world is in danger, and blah, blah. It's a pretty funny article. So I'll post that for you guys too. 8:52. Let's see. What can I talk about for the next few minutes? This is pretty quick. We've had Kasten on the show before, and they got acquired. So congratulations. I think from all the tweets and stuff I was seeing yesterday, everybody's happy with this, so that's good. It sucks when you get acquired and you're not happy about it. That has happened to some companies who just like they needed an exit because they weren't functional. In fact, I think Chef's exit wasn't what everybody wanted. But I don't know. Anyway, Veeam, Kasten, congratulations. This is a press release. Press releases are boring. This was cool. This. Oh, I hear people joining the community. Ding ding. Okay, more GitOps-y gnarliness. Cluster.dev. I spent a little bit of time looking at this last night, and I think it's pretty cool. You tell me. Basically, you've got this YAML file here. And so it's like cluster, installed, name, cloud. It only works. All right. All right. All right. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, figure out where the hell your bandwidth went. Oh, okay. It looks like, where's my chat? Where's my chat window? Yeah, okay, so YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is stupid. YouTube. What do you mean Twitch is dead? Wifebot, status? Wifebot says Twitch is working. Yeah, Twitch is working. Okay, Twitch is working. Yeah, good. Bleh. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, just go to my main channel and you'll see that it created a new event. So this has now been split into 2 parts. Sorry. It appears that the internet collapsed. What time is it? 8:58. Okay, well, we're back here. I'm going to start this over. Cluster.dev. Somehow you bind this to your application. I don't know if you make a separate repo for it or if you just make a directory in your existing repo, but you put it somewhere. And you have this cool little YAML file, and then you run whatever against this, and it builds you out a Kubernetes cluster in a cloud provider. Either it supports DigitalOcean. Where is? It's in another page. Supports DigitalOcean. It supports AWS, but it also says that it can build you out like a Minikube or other cluster within your cloud provider. So I don't know if it's deploying infrastructure and then putting Minikube on it, which would be stupid. Which would let me phrase that differently. Which would not be the way that I would do it. But I don't have a lot of time to dig into these. I just find them and I'm like, wow, this looks cool. So it builds everything out for you. It deploys Argo and then it deploys your app, and then you can tear it all down afterwards. So it's just a really cool, quick way to get a Kubernetes cluster with GitOps up and running for you to test your stuff. I would very much like somebody to spin this up, somebody who actually does. I don't do any development, so my applications for GitOps are fairly limited. And I'm really interested in the developer tooling that we get on the show, where people who actually do development for Kubernetes. I want to know what tools you use or why you chose them or what doesn't work. Like, is the stuff from Loft cool? Is something like this cool? Is Bridge to Kubernetes cool? Do they suck because they don't actually fit into a real workflow because they're written by people who don't? I don't know. Just from a design standpoint, being able to go from this little YAML file here into a fully functioning GitOps managed Kubernetes cluster backed by Terraform and Argo is amazing. Not so amazing as to make it the tool of the day, but pretty amazing nonetheless. And now it's 9 o'clock, but we lost time. I'm gonna talk for a few. Okay, Michael says GitLab Auto DevOps is amazing. I could not get GitLab Auto DevOps to work with my Kubernetes cluster because if I remember correctly, it was a couple of weeks back. It's like it wanted too much control over the cluster. There was a gap between, I got it connected to my cluster, and that allows me to run kubectl stuff from within the GitLab CI, but I couldn't figure out how to. There was something that was missing to get it to just deploy one website into something. Maybe it wanted control over a namespace. There was something that it wanted architecturally that wasn't how I had my cluster designed, and so it just threw the whole thing out the window. War Games, Rancher hoodie. War Games. I'll ping you afterwards. I don't know if you can buy them. I'll ping you afterwards. We'll see what we can do. Great. Now everybody's going to be like, I want a Rancher hoodie too. All right. Today's tool of the day comes from our very own Kai, who is in the chat. This is Kuber. I'm going to take my little teleprompter thing away here. Kai popped up yesterday and he said, would you ever consider a paid app as the tool of the day? And I said, sure. And he showed me this. And the first thing that I love about this is that in their screenshots, take a look at this right one. Can you see it? I'm gonna make that even bigger. Whatever. They're running Rancher. They're showing you the cattle system namespace with the cattle cluster agent and the cattle node agent and stuff. So, I mean, come on. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm putting that on the show. But it's also actually really useful. Where did... I just unplugged it. It costs $10. and it runs on iOS. So if you're not in one of those camps, I'm sorry, but it's still pretty amazing. Really? That's what you're going to show? How about you show me something different? No? I was struggling with my phone this morning to get it to actually participate in the oh, hey, look at that. Okay. So I connected it to my DigitalOcean cluster. You can connect it to any cluster at all, and it'll show you all of the namespaces, and so you can pick stuff. So I don't even think I have anything in Goldilocks. I don't, because I deleted it. I didn't like what it was doing. Okay, so we'll just come to Monachus, and it's actually really fast. So you can see everything. Here's my deployments. I can control everything directly from here. So with replica sets, there's the pods. I can select the pod. It gives me the status. It shows me the memory that it's using, which is pretty cool if you want to come back after something's been running for a while and set requests and limits on it. Then you can get into the containers. And so it shows you the actual container and various other things about it, image pull policy, so on and so forth. But then up here from the container, you can directly view the logs. So this is the cncn.io website, and most of the logs are going to be the health check, unless one of you guys hits refresh right now. But we're not going to hang out while you wait for that to happen. But then check this out. It has a beta shell. So I mean, come on, like the ultimate road warrior. You can just be out somewhere and be like, oh, I need to shell into a container to, I don't know, do something. And you can do it from your phone. I bought it. It's amazing. It's fast. It's clean. It's got 5 stars on the App Store. People who are posting comments are saying things like, we need this as a desktop app. It just works really, really well for everything. You can control what resources you want to see. So maybe not everything. I guess you can't get like into the CRDs and stuff like that. But for the bulk of what you need, it's here. Ah, look, it even has secrets, but they're turned off by default. Ah, how thoughtful is that? So that's the tool of the day. That is Kuber, the Kubernetes dashboard. So thank you, Kai. Kai's recommended some other tools. I gotta put the teleprompter back up so I can read my outro. Kai has recommended some other tools that I will be looking at. If any of you have candidates for tool of the day, please let me know. And now we click forward a whole bunch of times to get down to the outro. Yay! If you liked what you saw today, particularly the part where the video crashed, I don't know, if you're watching something, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. It's not my fault. I am the official representative of the Han Solo school of blame deflecting. It's not my fault. Follow me on Twitch to get notifications when I start streaming. And remember, starting next week, I'm only live streaming on Twitch and then uploading the videos to YouTube afterwards. All of the links and the timestamps are going to be somewhere today. Yeah, they'll be in the video description. Well, I'm going to put timestamps in the video description. I think I'm actually just going to put links in the community site. Yeah, so if you want to see how to get to the stuff that I'm talking about, just join the free community site, and everything will be up in there. We'll do that today. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't work, we'll delete them all, and we'll do something else tomorrow, because that's what this is all about. If you have something you want me to talk about, hit me up in any of the billions of ways that you can find me now. Let me know. Mention me in a post on Discord or on the community site or something. And let me know if you use any of these things. I do want feedback from you guys so I can come back and be like, hey, that thing I said was awesome actually totally sucks. Or is more awesome than I thought it was, which was the case with Octeto a couple of days ago. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for staying late. Sorry about the problems. Keep learning. I will see you in the next show. Bye.